What's up, guys?
I don't have a microphone.
Welcome to Cook With Us, another episode here on Facebook Live. And today, how many viewers do we have? Do we have a few people on? Should I wait a little while?
We can wait a little bit.
Okay.
Anybody yet.
All right. Well, let's talk about this awesome recipe, a heart-healthy quinoa salad. Now, it's not just any quinoa salad. It's one that is going to fill you up, give you energy for days, and of course, it's amazing for your heart. The recipe is here at d2e.co/quinoa salad. If you want to follow along with us while we make this recipe, super awesome. Obviously, the main ingredient is quinoa. And I love quinoa. It's just one of those amazing superfood grains. For those of you who have never cooked with quinoa before, this is what it looks like dry. Well, this one's actually been rinsed and drained, but this is what it looks like uncooked. It's kind of small, but it can often be used in recipes that call for rice. So if you ever want a high protein substitute for rice, quinoa is great for that. And it's heart healthy because it's full of healthy fats that can help to maintain your good cholesterol levels. So yeah, we've got our quinoa over here. How are we going? Do we have some visitors?
We have people coming in.
Great.
You could just talk about, you have a particular color of quinoa.
I do. I have some red quinoa. For those of you just joining us, we're making a heart-healthy quinoa salad. I have some beautiful red quinoa here. We also sell white quinoa. We even sell tricolor quinoa, which is red, white, and black. Now, nutritionally, there's really not much difference between the different quinoa colors. The white one is probably, I would say, the least bitter, but the red and the black are both really delicious. They're kind of a slightly nuttier, chewier flavor than the white one. So you can use whichever one you like. I just got these from our bulk department. We actually sell the red and the tricolor in our bulk department. So great. So let's get started. Again, recipe is d2e.co/quinoa salad if you want to follow along. The first thing I'm going to do is show you how to cook the quinoa. Now that seems very basic, but I actually have a different method for cooking quinoa for salad than when I use it as a substitute for rice, like if I'm eating it with a dish as kind of like my grain. So when I cook it for salad, I do the same thing in terms of rinsing and draining it, but instead of just putting it in and adding water, I actually toast it a little bit. And the reason is that really helps to bring out the nutty flavor of the quinoa. So you'll see it's still a little bit moist from when I rinsed it. And the rinsing step is important. You want to get rid of any kind of dust or anything from the quinoa. So what I do is I just basically kind of toast it very lightly, and you actually start to see the water disappear as you toast it. I'm not going to do this step too laboriously because I think that you get the idea of how to toast quinoa. But the other thing I do when I have quinoa as like the main kind of ingredient for a salad is I like to add a little bit of seasoning, just so it has a bit of flavor even on its own, because it does form the bulk of this salad. So I'm going to put a little bit of garlic powder, and you can really put whatever kind of seasoning you like. I mean, you can add, dried herbs, you can put onion powder, other spices, but I just add the garlic powder in there. And then the water ratio is very important for salad. So usually the ratio for cooking quinoa, if you're using it kind of as a substitute for rice, is usually 1 grain to 2 water or 2 liquid. You can use vegetable stock, you can use you can even use aquafaba, you can use any kind of liquid, but the ratio is always 1 to 2. Now for salad, I actually like to use the ratio of 1 to 1.75. And the reason is that actually reduces the moisture in it. So instead of being kind of like a rice sort of sticky grain, it becomes more separated and better for salad. So I just pour the water in there. So this is actually 1.75 cups, and this is 1 cup of quinoa. I'm doing half of the recipe just for this demonstration purpose. And then I just leave that in there. And you'll see the water's a little bit cloudy from the garlic powder. And then I just leave that in there. I put my lid on, and then you'll just wait for it to boil, and then you can reduce the heat, and I always do it covered. Now, of course, you can also cook this in your Instant Pot. If you want to cook it in your Instant Pot, you already probably have methods to cook your quinoa and your rice, but I usually use the setting of 1 minute on pressure cook. A lot of people actually use higher times for quinoa, but I find that 1 minute for salad is good. Okay, so now we're going to move on and make our dressing.
Sorry, how long
Yes.
in here?
15 minutes in here.
Okay.
Yeah, 15.
And then 1 minute in the Instant Pot.
1 minute, you put it on pressure cook for 1 minute in the Instant Pot, but it actually takes a while to build pressure, and then 1 minute is enough. It's a different method to how you would usually cook quinoa. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to make our dressing, and my first ingredient is our Bragg's liquid aminos. So this is a great heart-healthy option, mainly because it's much lower in sodium than soy sauce. So if you're looking at your sodium levels, obviously sodium levels do influence heart health. So if you're trying to maintain good sodium levels, that's a great option. Also putting in some nut butter. So nut butter contains it's a really good source of monounsaturated fats, which are great for your good cholesterol, which is your HDL, and also helps with your bad cholesterol, which is your LDL. So this is just almond butter, fresh from our bulk department. Now I'm going to put a little bit of maple syrup in here. Now maple syrup is actually a good source of zinc. Zinc is great for protecting your arteries from free radical damage. So again, great for your heart. That's the brand that we have there, our pure maple syrup. And then I'm going to add a little bit of lime. Now lime is great for potassium, magnesium, also awesome for your heart. Every ingredient in this recipe has been specially selected for your heart health. So if you are someone who is wanting to really maintain good heart health, or if you have a loved one who you're really wanting to help cook something delicious and easy and still, great for the heart, this is the one. Okay, so I'm going to start to give this a little bit of a mix. And I'm going to add a couple more ingredients, but I just want to get this almond butter broken up. So you can see it's very thick, and the reason is our almond butter is freshly squeezed straight from, it's like ground from nuts, and you see it go through the machine and it comes out as almond butter. So I want to start to break it up before I add the remaining ingredients there. Okay, so now I'm going to just I usually just kind of splash the water in and mix it as I go. And this is just to thin up the dressing, because this dressing, you don't want to be really, really thick, because you want it to actually coat all of your quinoa and also all of your vegetables that you put in there as well. So if you have it too thick, it's not going to be able to do that. Okay, so you want it to be nice and runny. All right, now I'm going to put just a pinch of cayenne pepper. Okay, cayenne is also great for the heart, incredible for even reversing, excess blood clotting, great for your circulation. Okay, there we go. We have our dressing ready. It looks very runny, but remember, you are using this for, you'll see, a big bowl of quinoa. So you want it to be able to coat everything. You don't want it to be super thick and only coat some of your veggies and some of your quinoa. Okay. Now I'm going to add the rest of our ingredients. So this is some quinoa that I prepared earlier, and I'm actually going to turn off our our quinoa that we turned on, since we have this one from earlier, you can see what I did after the quinoa cooked. I actually let it stand for about another 15 minutes and then I fluffed it. So you can see it's nice and fluffy. It's not too moist because of the different water ratio. So this is great for salad because it's not going to clump together so much. So there's our cooked quinoa. I'm also going to add some chickpeas. So you can pretty much put any kind of legume that you like. You can put, any kind of bean, red kidney bean. You can put, trying to think what else, northern beans. You can put pinto beans. That little catchphrase that you sang as a kid is still true. Beans, beans, good for your heart. So here we go. I'm not going to finish it, but if you know, you know. All right. So here we go. We've got our chickpeas in there, and now I'm going to put some edamame. So a lot of people have misconceptions about soy products. Sometimes people are scared of them because they think that they, cause breast cancer and all these kinds of things. So soy, actually, especially soy that comes from edamame, and tofu and non-GMO and organic soy especially are actually amazing for you. They contain these things called isoflavones, though they are amazing for your heart. So you actually really want to, and you can do your own research, you want to have good sources of clean soy. So we're talking organic, non-GMO soy. This is the one I'm using. It's actually frozen edamame. All I've done is boil it on the stovetop. Really, really easy. It took less than 5 minutes. And just going to toss that in there, give it a bit of a mix. And then my last couple of ingredients, I have here some red bell pepper. Now for salads, I'm always very particular to pick the bell peppers that have 4 nodules on the bottom. 4 means it's female, 3 means it's male, and the 4 means the female ones are actually sweeter than the male ones. So for salads, go figure. For salads, they're great. For soups, for stir fries, I usually pick the other ones. And the way I cut it, you'll see I slice it a certain way. I slice it on the end, on the front, and then what I can do is I can just pop out the core really easily. And I can pop out the top really easily as well. And then I end up with all of this, and I've only actually thrown away this much, which is pretty cool. So then I just slice it really rough. Again, this is for a salad. It's not really the main ingredient, so it doesn't need to be perfect. You can slice it, you can dice it finer if you like. Great thing about the red bell peppers is, people ask me, can you use green bell pepper instead? Now, green bell peppers are great, but if you want it specifically as a heart-healthy quinoa salad, the red bell peppers have lycopene, which is an incredible heart-healthy antioxidant. The green bell peppers don't have that antioxidant. So for a heart-healthy quinoa salad, doesn't mean the green bell peppers are not good for your heart, but it just means that if you add the red ones, you'll get that extra hit. Plus, red bell peppers are actually super high in vitamin C. In fact, they have 3 times the vitamin C of an orange. And vitamin C, if you didn't know, is really important in regulating the synthesis of collagen. And collagen is really important in the structure of your arteries. So red bell peppers are definitely amazing for your heart. Okay, gonna pop these into my salad. Here we go. And I love that this is a nice, colorful salad, as always. I think I need a bigger spoon. This little spoon here is a little bit tiny. Okay, here we go. All right, let me give this a mix.
How many cups of quinoa are in there?
Okay, so Cynthia just asked how many cups of quinoa are in this salad. There are 2 cups, and as you can see, 2 cups makes a pretty big salad. So I would say this makes 4 servings if you're eating this like as a main dish, but you could get many more servings out of this if it's just a side dish. So yeah, there are 2 cups in here. Basically same as the recipe. All right, I'm going to pour my dressing over. And you can add even more water to this as well if you want even more dressing. I'm just going to pour it over just like this and give it a good mix. So again, this is not your typical dressing where you're adding, you're not making it really, really thick. You want it to coat all of the quinoa. Okay, here we go. And this is another reason why you don't want your quinoa to be too moist to begin with, because you are adding a lot of liquid in your dressing as well. It's going to be like super, super moist if you have really moist quinoa to begin with. There we go. Giving it a good stir. And the last thing I like to add is some hemp seeds over the top. Hemp seeds, again, super high in healthy omega-3 fatty acids. So there we go. There is our heart-healthy quinoa salad. Now, do we have any questions about any of the ingredients? It's a very straightforward recipe, super, super easy to make. If you need the recipe again, it is d2e.co/quinoa salad. That's d2e.co/quinoa salad. And you can follow along. There is a shopping list on there as well that will take you over to our Mercado platform for online shopping. Let me try a little bit of this for you. All right, here we go. You know what? I need to get a little bit of everything so I can try the whole thing together. Okay, so I've got my edamame, chickpea, quinoa, red bell pepper, all in there.
Can hear you.
So good, yeah. You probably can. In fact, if you want to add, if you're really a texture person, I find that these ingredients, actually the bell pepper, the edamame, and the chickpea all have a tiny bit of crunch to them already, especially a really good fresh red bell pepper like the one I popped in. But if you want some extra crunch, you can put in some pumpkin seeds or sunflower seeds, or even a different kind of nut as well. I mean, nuts are great for your heart also. So if you wanted to add that in, if you really, really love textures and you need a little bit more of a crispier crunch, you can pop those in there as well. Yes, what's the late question?
Regular quinoa.
Oh, okay. So the question was, is that regular quinoa? You know, I think what you mean by regular quinoa is probably the more common one, which is the white quinoa. This one is the red quinoa, but it's pretty similar to the white. I did explain earlier the white is a little less bitter. The red and the black are a little bit chewier, a little bit nuttier, but nutritionally very, very similar. So yeah, this is the red quinoa that we used. Okay, thank you so much everyone for joining us. Make sure you tune in on Friday on Instagram for another episode of Cook With Us. And of course, we'll be back next Tuesday on Cook With Us with another great episode here on Facebook Live. Thank you so much and have a great week. Aloha.